Hey everyone, it's Michelle from XDA Developers. Today I have the OnePlus 6T in Thunder Purple, which launched in China originally, but has since been released in the United States, Europe, and India. This is the 8GB RAM and 128GB model. I have the box right here, and I'm going to be opening it for the first time to show you the device and what's inside. Open that slowly. We have the device right here with the cover for the in-display fingerprint sensor. Let me open this up so you can see what the back looks like. So here, this is OnePlus's first smartphone with a gradient finish. You might have seen a video earlier where OnePlus was prototyping gradient finishes on the OnePlus 6, but they never released those. They do had some cool finishes like the white model, the silk white, and they have the midnight black and the mirror black on the 6T already, but this is the new gradient finish Thunder Purple. You can see it's kind of a dark purple up top, and it gets a little lighter as you go down. Let me remove the sticker so you can see it better. Okay, let me remove the in-display fingerprint sensor sticker. Let me boot that up quick, and while we let it boot, let's see what's inside the box. So here, if you've dealt with OnePlus boxes before, you might know that they include a complimentary case with it, which is nice. It's not a very high quality case. It's kind of just a little silicone plastic case. Fits the device well enough. You know, I really recommend you get one of their first party cases. They're usually really high quality. Here you have the booklet, and you'll also find the SIM tray tool in here if you open it up enough. It's a little really well packed to maximize the space. There's your SIM tray tool and your safety information and your get started booklet. You have the invitation letter here, which is a nice little letter from the CEO, Pete Lau. You can see it here. It's a nice little message. And of course you have the dash charge cable with the charging brick. Sorry, they don't actually call it dash charge anymore. The new name is still to be decided, but we all still like to call it dash charge. Still just as fast as ever, still keeps your phone cool. Maybe we'll see an upgraded Dash 2.0 in the near future. We don't know, but look forward to that on the next generation device, hopefully. And of course, here's the 3.5mm to USB-C adapter, because the OnePlus 6T does not have a headphone jack anywhere. Not on the bottom, not on the top, which some of you might not like, but I've personally gotten over it since I've been using the Pixel 2 XL, the Pixel 3 XL, and the OnePlus 6T for the past few weeks. Okay, so let's talk about the device itself. The major improvements over the OnePlus 6 focus on the display and the fingerprint sensor. The display is a very subtle improvement in terms of screen to body ratio. The bottom bezel has been trimmed a little bit, and the notch has been reduced in size. So you have a teardrop notch now. Water drop, teardrop, doesn't have an official name, but that's what the community has settled on. It's a very small notch. In my opinion, it's actually aesthetically pleasing to the point where I don't want to hide the notch in the settings, but you can do that if you want to. This is probably the end of notches. You're not going to get any smaller than this. You'll certainly still see notches that are bigger than this because they want to accommodate the 3D facial recognition sensors and whatever is needed for that. That's not on this device, by the way, but it does have a face unlock feature, which I'll talk about in a little bit. On the back, unlike the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 5T, the fingerprint sensor is no longer on the back because it's integrated into the display. So right here, your fingerprint sensor is waiting for you to unlock it. I set it up with my thumb, and see, it's pretty fast. Unlock it a few more times just to show you. It's really fast, pretty accurate. In my experience, I haven't had very many issues with it. Optical in-display fingerprint sensors, the only times you'll really have problems is when it's really cold or your fingers are really wet. But if you don't meet those two conditions, then you shouldn't have very many problems using the OnePlus 6T's in-display fingerprint sensor. In my experience, it is pretty fast, pretty accurate. I compared it to the Honor Magic 2's in-display sensor. I found this one to be more reliable. I haven't had like frustrating situations where it doesn't recognize my finger very often. The very rare situations where that has happened, fortunately, the face unlock feature is still present. It's still fast. It's still convenient. It's not secure because it's just software based using that single front-facing camera. So you're not getting the 3D structured light system that's like on the iPhone X, on like the Mi 8 Explorer Edition, etc. So don't expect to be using that for biometric authentication in terms of like banking apps, but you can use it to unlock your phone. And it does complement the in-display fingerprint sensor really well. Internally, it's pretty much the same hardware as the OnePlus 6, the 8 gigabytes of RAM, which we praise OnePlus for continuing to include 8 gigabytes of RAM in their high-end models. You're not going to have any issues with apps redrawing or apps requiring to be reloaded from scratch when you're opening apps from like 20 apps ago. You'll have apps that were still there, just waiting for you to open them up again. You know, that's a major complaint people have had with certain devices with 4 gigabytes of RAM. But, you know, you never have those problems on these devices. And, of course, the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset. It's still the best Qualcomm chip on the market. There are a few better chipsets like the HiSilicon Kirin 980. Next year we'll get the Snapdragon 8150, we think. But for 2018, this is the best you're going to get. And it's not inadequate in any way. It's still really fast in terms of like real life fluidity, speed, performance, whatever, gaming. It can handle all the latest games like Fortnite. That's the go-to that everyone talks about, of course. But there's really no complaints. I mean, if you buy this phone and you're going to say, oh, it's going to be outdated in a few months, well, Snapdragon 845 is still really fast and should give you a really decent gaming and browsing performance. I mean, most people aren't going to be like doing heavy video editing on their phones, so I think you should be just fine with the 845. The Thunder Purple gradient finish is a limited edition model. So if you're looking to pick up a 6T, and if you live in America, you live in a European country, you live in India, you definitely want to pick one of these up because we don't know how long stocks will last. We don't know if they'll restock them. We don't know how many they'll restock them with. You know, so if you want to pick one up, it's best you do it now rather than later. The Thunder Purple comes in 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. Starts at $529 in the United States. Same price as the Midnight Black and the Mirror Black one. So just go to oneplus.com for your region and check it out there.